Hey, Sean, can I get your opinion just real quickly on what the best Halloween costume is?
Sure.
Okay, look.
What are you?
Steve.
That's it?
Yeah, I just thought, like, you start, keep it simple, keep it cool.
That is as simple as it gets.
Like, Steve.
I don't think that's your best.
Okay, fine. Okay, how about this?
Oh my gosh, that's too scary.
Okay, see, I thought you'd say that, so I had a couple of alternatives.
Right? That's scarier.
No, it's the fun top hat.
No, if I saw you in my neighborhood, I would call the cops immediately.
Okay, that's fine. I was worried, so I have another alternative.
Okay.
I feel like this makes it a lot better.
Oh my gosh, no.
Everybody loves clowns.
Nobody loves clowns.
Even if I do the nose?
Nope, the nose is still scary. That is terrifying. That is a nightmare factory.
This is great. Everyone loves clowns.
You are a walking nightmare factory.
Okay, fine. I'll try something else.
Please.
Okay. I know what you're thinking. You're like, Ryan,
This is a
you're
backwards hoodie.
Yeah, that's all you think. But
That is all I think.
in just 2 moves, I'm in the game Among Us. I'm one of the crewmates.
Okay.
I'm a crewmate.
Okay. I could kind of see that one.
That's pretty good.
I don't hate it.
You don't hate it.
I don't hate it.
Okay, that's the best I've done so far.
It's a low bar.
All right, I'll see what else I can do.
Okay. Ryan, are you ready yet? Come on. Ryan, I don't have all day. Ryan, I know this is you. It's a great costume, but I know it's you. You can say something. I like the costume. What more do you want? I can see you blinking in the costume.
Okay, or you just keep it classic.
The classic is good. A little pumpkin never hurt anybody.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, which one did you end up going with?
What do you mean?
Yeah, which one did you wear this past weekend?
What do you mean this past weekend?
Halloween was last week. Yeah, it's November.
Oh.
Yeah, it's November. You didn't know that?
No, I didn't.
Yikes.
But I...
No. Welcome to the Wakend Update. Hey guys, we're starting a new Wake series called In God We Trust. And In God We Trust also happens to be the motto of the United States of America. I don't know if you're surprised by that. I was surprised by that because I look at our country as a place that seems to not be moving towards a deeper trust in God, but to a deeper trust in anything but God. Ourselves, our feelings, the government, or whatever our view of God is. And you guys as 6th, 7th, and 8th graders are in the middle of this. Even though you don't have the opportunity to vote, you have the opportunity to live out in God we trust wherever you're at. And in this series, we want to give you some perspective, actions, and ways to think about how you can fully trust God as you live in the United States of America. Today, we're going to talk about something that affects your life every single day, and that's leadership. Leaders affect your lives every single day. Now, I know in your lives there's not a lot of spots where you get to choose who your leaders are. You don't choose the president or your teachers or your parents, but you do choose the people who have influence over you every day. The people that you look up to, the people that you want to be like, the people you admire. You choose those things, who is leading you in those ways, and that does affect your life. Even the words follow, influence, have different meaning now than they did 10 years ago. Social media, YouTube plays into this as well. And not only that, but you are a leader. And the kind of leader you are, the way you lead, affects not just you, but all those around you. And so today we're going to talk about how to choose a leader and how to be a leader. So as we talk about how to choose a leader, we're going to talk about the first king of Israel. Now, Israel had been led by God, and they said, hey, we don't want to just be led by God. We want to be like every other country and have a king. And we want a king that looks like the kings of all the other nations. And they chose Saul. And part of the reason they chose Saul was because he looked the part. 1 Samuel 9:2 says that Saul was the most handsome man in Israel, and he was head and shoulders taller than anyone else in Israel. But eventually, all those characteristics did not matter. because Saul failed Israel as a king. And so when you think about how to choose a leader, you choose a leader who has the characteristics that really matter. See, Saul had all these great characteristics on the outside, but those are not the ones that matter. What he did not have was faithfulness, character, integrity, courage, and obedience to God. And God says, hey, those are the ones that really matter. In fact, in 1 Samuel 16:7, he says, don't judge by their appearance or height, for I've rejected him. The Lord doesn't see the things the way you see them. People judge by outward appearance, but the Lord looks at the heart. And the heart of the matter when it comes to choosing a leader is to look at the heart of that leader. See, because Saul, even though he talked about honoring and obeying God, as you read 1 Samuel, we'll see from his actions that, man, he cared about honoring himself just as much. In fact, being honored by and being loved by the people was something he cared deeply about. And because of that, he led his people into disobedience against God. So when you look at the people that you're giving influence over your life, over your thoughts, over your wants, where are they leading you to? Are they leading you to greater love of them? Are they leading you to greater trust in just yourself? Or are they leading you to the King? Are the people around you, are the people that have influence over you, are they pointing you to the King? Will their influence lead you to a deeper love and following of Jesus? And so when it comes to how to be a leader, you be a leader who's not about the platform, but the people. Be somebody who cares not about how much people love you, but about how much people love God because they spend time with you. And as you're watching this, you might be sitting there being like, I'm not a leader. You might not feel like much, like you don't have much to offer. And I want to just tell you about the next king after Saul, and that was David. Now, a lot of you have heard of David. I mean, David and Goliath is even talked about in our culture. But my guess is that the image of David you have in your head might not be exactly what it was. In fact, I think if David were in your schools, wearing normal clothes, you might not even be able to pick him out from among the crowd. And one of the first big moments in David's leadership was David and Goliath. But did you know David was not even there to fight Goliath? David was on a cheese run. That's right, he was delivering cheese. But when he got there, everybody was just talking. What should we do? What can we do? Goliath is here taunting our God and taunting his people. And David, instead of talking, took action. And we know how it ends from there. He slays Goliath, eventually becomes king of Israel, and is a man after God's own heart. And I think what we see from David's story is the most important thing that you could know about how to be a leader. And it's this: be a leader before you're a leader. Now that sounds confusing, but here's what I mean by that. David didn't show up to that battle thinking, this is my opportunity. Here's my chance to get all the people to love me, to get all the people to follow me. He just was there, and he saw something that wasn't right, and he was just living his life. He took action. It wasn't about leading people, it's who he was. And so you, 6th grader, 7th grader, 8th grader, don't lead to be a leader. Lead a way of life that honors God because you trust God. You know, Saul was not a leader that had the characteristics that actually mattered. And he didn't point people to the real king. But even in spite of that, God still faithfully gave another king in David. And David had a kid who had a kid who had a kid who had a kid. And eventually from that line came another king, Jesus Christ, who God also faithfully supplied. And Jesus is the ultimate example of a leader we should choose to follow. And we should choose him. He's the way, the truth, and the life. Not only that, he's also the perfect example of how to be a leader. He said himself in Mark 10:45, the Son of Man came not to be served, but to serve others and to give his life as a ransom for many. He came not to seek a platform, but to serve. And he did serve, even to the point of dying for you. And you will be no good leader unless you first surrender your life and follow Jesus. So Christian, my question for you is this: are you leading your life in a way that could say, in God I trust?